Hello, I'm Dr. Stephen Knowlton, Dr. No for short. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Stephen Luking. Dr. Luking is now running for the North Carolina Senate seat currently occupied by Phil Berger. Steve and I go back many years. Both of us practiced family medicine in Reidsville and admitted patients to Addie Penn Hospital. Steve has been chief of staff and chair of the hospital board in addition to his clinical duties. Both of us have seen the damage that the lack of medical insurance has done to people here in Rockingham County. Both of us know the importance of a good public education system. Steve entered into politics because of his concern about these and other problems we currently have in North Carolina. Steve, to get started, tell us about your knowledge about extended Medicaid.
Sure. And first of all, thanks for having me here today, Steve.
Oh, sure.
Good to see an old friend. So I've been saying for quite some time that I really didn't get into politics. Politics came to me. For about a dozen years, unfortunately, our state made the, I think, wrong-headed and partisan decision not to expand Medicaid. And as both you and I know, this harmed a lot of folks. People didn't have access to health care insurance, and in our country, if you don't have health care insurance, there's an increased risk of death. And we saw patients harmed by their inability to gain Medicaid because our state was refusing to expand Medicaid. So I told myself once I retired, I was going to try to step into the fore a bit and try to become more politically active and fight for the community and for health care access in general.
Good for you.
Yeah. I'm happy to say after a dozen years we did get Medicaid expanded, but we are facing other challenges with healthcare. Maybe we'll get into some of those a bit later on.
Gotcha. Now, the other thing I was interested about is the public education, because I know that you were brought up in the public schools.
Absolutely.
And your wife was a public
school teacher,
and your daughter is a public school teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, so I'm a huge supporter of public education. I think it's a great equalizer. And no matter what pathway you choose in life, a good, solid, fundamental primary and secondary education is crucial for all. And it shouldn't depend on zip codes or living in cities or suburbs with more resources. A good, solid public education should be available to all North Carolinian kids. It's crucial. And I'm very disappointed to say that our state has now dropped to 50th in the nation as far as public school funding effort and 49th as far as actual dollars. When I first came to North Carolina 35 years ago, our state was 32nd in the nation. And under the guidance of legislators, including my opponent, Phil Berger, we have watched public education support just go into the bottom of the barrel. And this is causing a lot of good teachers to leave the schools. It's causing a lot of families to be concerned about the quality of education. Although I'd like to say our public teachers are still fighting the good fight, but not because of support on the state level, but in spite of it. So I intend to fight hard to improve funding to public schools when I make it to Raleigh.
And that brings us to the next thing, because of course, when you want to spend more money on health care and more money on education, it's got to come from somewhere.
Sure. So thanks for leading me into that. The corporate tax rate in our state has been cut in half in the last decade. During this very same time, homeowners have watched their property taxes go through the roof. This has been an intentional shift on the part of legislators, including the current person who sits in the Senate District 26 seat. And I think it's shameful and wrong. Our tax system in the state is actually regressive. The average income taxpayer pays his or her portion of taxes at a higher rate than the wealthy income folks. And I think this is wrong. And corporations have seen their tax cuts slashed. Meanwhile, we're losing support of public schools and public services. And the only way that local communities can make up for it is by shooting property taxes through the roof. When I get into Raleigh, I'm going to reverse this and demand that corporations pay their fair share and work towards cutting taxes towards the average income person in the state.
Gotcha. Now, I know we have another election coming up, and these elections get into being pissing contests at times. So I want your thoughts about the integrity of conducting a campaign, and also the integrity once a person is in the legislature.
Yeah, so excellent questions. I am disturbed by all the signs and all the advertisement that I'm seeing. I understand our current resident of the seat, Phil Berger, between he and his interests have spent north of $2 million thus far on the campaign alone. These special interests and corporations and others who are largely behind funding all these advertisements aren't doing this just for free. They expect results from their efforts to shore up Senator Berger's position, and I think if Berger were to succeed once again, they're going to be demanding increased access to Berger as he makes his decisions, supposedly for the community. I think this is wrong-headed. I think that the community should have equal, if not superior, access to their senator compared to the interests down in Raleigh, and particularly superior interest, superior attention compared to the special interests. So that's something very concerning. And then I've been often asked, well, can you work across the aisle? And my response to that is absolutely I can. You and I practiced for 40 years here in the community. Well, you 40 and me
Yep.
north of 30. We never once asked an administrator or a patient or a fellow physician or a community leader what their partisan stance was on something. We just fought for what was right for the sake of the patient.
Absolutely.
And I'll do the same when I make it to Raleigh. But I will say this. If someone takes a position that's harming the community or undercutting the average worker out there or the average income family, I'm not going to meet them halfway. I'm going to fight for what's right.
Good for you. So to sum it up, when you get to Raleigh, if it happens, what things are you going to do in a capsule?
So public education right now is first and foremost. We've gone to the bottom of the barrel as far as funding public education.
Gotcha. Number one.
And so that's number one. Number two, improve healthcare access. The so-called big, beautiful bill that Senator Berger endorsed 100% is going to take $23 billion away from Medicaid over the next decade, which is going to harm our nursing homes, our rural hospitals. It's going to harm patients' access to health care. It's going to lead to more death, and I'm going to fight back against that. We need a Senate that tells Washington, D.C. what the community needs and not just kowtows to the current partisan reign.
I agree.
So those are my two biggest
So
ones.
those are the biggest. At any rate, I appreciate you coming here, and I hope our viewers understand where you're coming from better than they did then when we started this. And good luck on the campaign.
Thanks, Steve. Happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.